It's good to be home, y'all. Yeah, it's good to be home. I know a lot of people in this room. I don't know everybody in this room. If you don't know me, my name is Parker, and for a while I was actually on staff here at Woodland. Yeah, I got a woo and a boo. I got both. Yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit. You had the woo, and Austin, yeah, of course he had the boo. Yeah. I was in various different roles and had different responsibilities, and I just want to say thank you guys for letting me basically use this church as a test dummy for ministry. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. I'm kidding, kind of. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, and my wife and I, y'all know Rachel. Everybody say, hey, Rachel. There she is. Yeah. We moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a while, which was terrible. I love the Nuzos. I love the church we're at. You guys are awesome, but I'm saying the weather and the city, it's just gray and cold, and Northerners they're just rude. That's just all there is to it. They're just rude. So I never thought I would miss the South, but I'm being so sincere right now. Like, I was so glad to come home, and get some chicken, some fried chicken, and some mac and cheese, and some peach cobbler, and some green beans. They're up there eating, what were they eating? What was that thing that they ate up there, Rachel? Pierogi or something like that? Yeah, and like potato. They just eat like potatoes. Like, that's it. It's just a potato. So, yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. No, I love the Nuzos. I feel bad that hopefully they don't see this, but the city and the people and all that stuff. But we were there for a while, and then we just moved back here pretty recently, and yeah, we're excited to be back. Have y'all seen my little baby girl? Have y'all seen her? I think they have a picture of her. I brought one. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, like it's so like petty. I could cry every time I see that child. It's just like, oh my gosh. And I always made fun of parents who said that and dads who are like all about their little girls. And I'm like, you're soft or whatever. You softy. And then like, I'm telling you, it's not fake. Like, I just see pictures and I'm just like, like you're amazing, and you could do nothing in your entire life, and you can sit on the couch and make nothing of yourself. And I would just love the heck out of that little girl. She's my little girl. So she's awesome. My wife's awesome. Life is good. I'm going to be really honest with y'all, though, okay? This has been a week for me, like one of those weeks. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So it's been one of those weeks, okay? And I don't view preaching as something to, like, get up and present, like it's like a PowerPoint or something like that. That's not how I approach preaching. It's more of an extension of your life is how I feel. And the best sermons are always the ones that are preached out of the overflow of what God is teaching you and what you're walking through. I don't mean like in a sense where you make it all about you, but I'm not that person that can get up here and present something that's awesome but internally not be okay. Like, that's just not me. And so I'm just letting you know it's been a week. And I have fought this thing so hard. I was walking in the woods for like 4 hours the other day and just trying to just get things together and craft it. And usually I don't really have an issue with preaching. It's like it comes relatively natural on how to, just wind your way through a sermon and land somewhere. But it's for whatever reason, like, I have not been able to do that with this stinking sermon. And yeah, we had I don't want to get into a lot of details, but just some business issues and just significant amount of money that were just stolen and not given. And so just working through those challenges, and then life hits you, and then it starts affecting everything else that you're doing. And as a man who struggles with, blending my career with my family and getting all that mixed up, it's a lot to deal with. And so I have fought this thing. I have no title. I have 2 points. They do start with the same letter, so we're good there. Yeah. The other thing is, I was going in a direction, and then my dad was like, "Hey, we're in a," like, I had a direction of like, "Hey, I think I'm going to talk about this," and my dad was like, "We're in a series on prayer." I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, you need to preach on prayer. And I was like, that's been an intimidating topic for me to preach on for a while. It just seems like a big thing to undertake, to tell people how to talk to God. Like that's a big deal. And so it's like, I got to preach on prayer. But it's funny that when he said that, and it's actually kind of made me refocus on prayer. It's exactly what I needed this week. So if anything, if y'all were not even in this room right now, I'm going to be preaching this one to myself, okay? I'm going to be up here talking to myself, and if y'all like it, great. If not, I don't really care. But we're going to go for it. There's no title. It's seminar style. I got 2 points. I usually come with like a story that I tell you guys where I'm going to say like, hey, I told y'all about me skydiving and me almost getting hit by a tornado. And y'all remember any of these stories? Maybe not, probably not. I've told you about a lot of things, and then I try to like set it up, be dramatic, and then weave that into like a sermon. You know what I'm talking about? And then I got nothing. There's none of that. There's no personal stories. There's no smooth intro. We're just jumping straight into prayer if y'all are good with it. And we'll call it a 35-minute seminar on prayer with 2 points, okay? 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 8. Let's go. Lord, help us. Lord, help us today. This is one of my favorite stories in the Bible, and I've talked about it from different angles and different points of view and perspectives, but it was an interesting one for the topic of prayer. We're going to start in verse 8. Now, this is a lot of reading, okay? So we're going from verse 8 through verse 37. So I'm going to read it all. It's going to be okay. I know a lot of y'all probably have not read that much of the Bible in a long, long time, so I'm going to do it for you right now. Hey, I almost thought, I didn't even see my parents in the room. I was over here doing worship, and I didn't even see them, because y'all know that he skipped church last week on Father's Day, and I was like, did he do it again this week, 2 in a row? There's no way. Like, you skip 2 weeks in a row, your pastor card is gone. It's revoked. No, but they're here too, so this is great. Hey, 2 Kings 4, verse 8. Okay, we're talking about the Shunammite woman. I love this woman, so let's go. It's a lot. Pay attention. We're good. One day, Elisha went to the town of Shunem. A wealthy woman lived there, and she urged him to come to her home for a meal. After that, whenever he passed that way, he would stop there for something to eat. Must be good cooking. Some Southern cooking, not that Pennsylvania cooking. She said to her husband, I am sure this man who stops him from time to time is a holy man of God. Let's build a small room for him on the roof and furnish it with a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp. She's making herself a little Airbnb for the preacher. Then he will have a place to stay whenever he comes by. One day Elisha returned to Shunem, and he went up to this upper room to rest. He said to his servant Gehazi, tell the woman from Shunem, I want to speak with her. When she appeared, Elisha said to Gehazi, tell her, we appreciate the kind concern you have shown us. What can we do for you? Can we put you in a good word for you to the king or to the commander of the army? This woman said, no. My family takes care of me. Basically, I'm good. I don't need anything from you. Later, Elisha asked Gehazi, what can we do for this woman? Gehazi replied, she doesn't have a son, and her husband is incredibly old. Call her back again. Elisha told him. When the woman returned, Elisha said to her as she stood in the doorway, next year at this time, you will be holding a son in your arms. She said, no, my Lord, I'm good. Or she said, no, man of God, I'm good. Don't deceive me and get my hopes up. Which alludes to the fact that she wanted a boy. But sure enough, the woman soon became pregnant, and at that time, the following year, she had a son, just as Elisha has said. Okay, so we're halfway there. We good? Y'all good? Y'all with me? You're not falling asleep thinking about lunch already? We're good? Miss Peggy, you're good? Okay. All right. Dylan, Dawson, y'all good? Okay. I can't believe y'all have graduated, by the way. What? Are y'all in college now? One of y'all's in college? Both of y'all are graduated, right? That's insane. That's insane. When I was a youth pastor, they were in the youth group, and if I messed y'all up or steered you in a bad path, I'm sorry, okay? Hopefully you guys are doing okay. If you graduated, you're halfway there. All right. One day when her child was older, he went out to help his father, who was working in with the harvesters in the field. Suddenly the boy cried out, "My head, my head." His father said to one of the servants, "Carry him home to see his mom." That's what every good father does. Like, something's wrong with you, go see your mom, man, you know. I go to my dad, "Dad, go see your mom, man. I don't know what I'm doing." So the servant took him home, and his mother held him on her lap. But around noontime, he died. She carried him up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, then shut the door and left him there. We're going to come back to that. It's his problem. Austin's ahead of me. She sent a message to her husband, "Send one of the servants in a donkey so that I can hurry to the man of God and come right back." "Why go today?" he asked. "Is it neither a new moon festival or a Sabbath?" But she said, "It'll be all right." So she saddled the donkey and said to the servant, "Hurry, don't slow down unless I tell you to." As she approached the man of God at Mount Carmel, Elisha saw her in the distance and said to Gehazi, "Look, the woman from Shunem is coming. Run to meet her and ask her, 'Is everything all right with you, your husband, and your child?'" "Yes," the woman told Gehazi, "everything is fine." But when she came to the man of God at the mountain, she fell to the ground before him and caught hold of his feet. Gehazi began to push her away, but the man of God said, "Leave her alone. She is deeply troubled, but the Lord has not told me what it is." Then she said, "Did I ask you for a son, my Lord? And didn't I say, hey, when you asked me what I needed, didn't you say, I'm good, I'm fine, I don't need anything from you? Didn't I say, don't deceive me and get my hopes up?" Then Elisha said to Gehazi, "Get ready to travel. Take my staff and go. Don't take anyone along the way. Don't talk to anybody along the way. Go quickly and lay the staff on the child's face." But the boy's mother said, "As surely as the Lord lives and in yourself live, I won't go home unless you go with me." She said, "Oh, no. You are not getting out of this one." Gehazi hurried on ahead and laid the staff on the child's face, but nothing happened. There was no sign of life. He returned to meet Elisha and told him, "Hey, man, what you just told me to do for this dead boy that you initiated to this woman didn't work, and he's still dead." That's a tough place. Okay, we're going to divert for a second, and it's going to seem like there's no connection, and hopefully there will be one later on. But I want to highlight something about prayer, because we're talking about prayer. You're like, I didn't see any prayers in that passage. How are we talking about prayer? Well, we're talking about prayer, okay? If I'm Elisha and I initiate something and I initiate a promise to this woman and I tell my servant to go do something to raise this boy back from the dead, and that doesn't happen, I'm in trouble, right? Like, I'm going to be scared to pray after that. Oh my God, you gave this boy and he's still dead. And what I did to try to bring him back didn't work. That's a that's a tough spot to be in. That's an uncomfortable spot to be in. And this woman's looking at you like, hey, that's my boy, right? And so when it comes to prayer, and I told you earlier that prayer has been a hard topic for me because it seems so intimidating, especially to tell other people how to relate to God, how to relate to the person that created you, that made you, that molded you, that designed you, that knows you better than anyone else, inside and out. He knows you. And how do we connect with this person? And I think for a lot of us, like Elisha, if I'm Elisha, I'm scared after that to keep praying, okay? It didn't work, so now I'm scared to keep going. So maybe not for the same reasons that Elisha had, but I know in my life, a lot of times, this is point one, here we go. Like I said, there's no cute story or anything. Point one, a lot of times I'm scared to pray. I'm nervous to pray. I'm unsure to pray. And I think there's a few reasons. And I think if we're going to be honest, I think a lot of us probably feel that same way. And prayer can be an intimidating thing. And so I'm scared to pray for a few reasons. Me personally, maybe one of these will relate to you. Because I've made a lot of mistakes. And I know me. And I know my dumb self and all the dumb things that I get my dumb self into. Okay, yeah, okay. And When you think about talking to God, who knows you, who's holy, who's righteous, it's like, man, I know what I did last Friday, so, I don't know if I need to be talking to you right now. This is uncomfortable, and I'm scared to talk to him. Anybody else feel a little fear sometimes when you're like, I'm talking to God right now? I feel that because I've made some mistakes, and there's things that I'm not proud of. I also feel guilty sometimes. When we're praying, it's like I feel guilty because I think I need to do this more than I do, and I should be praying more often than I do. And when I don't pray more often and I don't pray as much as I think is obligated as a Christian to pray, whatever that time amount is, I don't know if you figure it out, come tell me. When I don't do that, when I don't pray that, I feel guilty. I'm like, God, I don't even have a leg to stand on when I'm coming to talk to you, So I'm scared to pray for that reason. I think past hurts also come into our mind when we go to God and we're ready to pray. Things that didn't happen. Things that you prayed for a long time that didn't happen. I think like the Shunammite woman who said, hey, Elisha, don't give my hopes up. Especially not about a little boy. You can get my hopes up about, a new Toyota or a new chariot to go to town. Don't get my hopes up about a little boy. Because that meant something to her, right? I don't wonder if it's me. I wonder if it's you. You're in the same boat as me. I wonder if you're scared to pray because I've got my hopes up before. I don't want them to get let down again. I don't want to go there again. I don't want to look stupid if it doesn't happen. I don't want to lead my family to something and then I got to tell them later, hey, I believe this. I was here. I was pushing it, and I asked God, and we went to God, and didn't happen. Those are some reasons that I feel like I'm scared to pray. But I think the root of all those reasons for me, okay, the root of all those reasons for me is because I think I have not had a healthy view of how God relates to me. What I mean, I view God way too often as a distant figure who I need to access from time to time when I'm in need, when I'm in trouble, when my boy dies in a field, when things go wrong. That's when I access God. I'm not typically praying on a daily basis to just commune with God, to get to know God, to just get to know God. I'm talking to God because I need something from him. I'm treating him like, it's a cliche saying, and I hate to do this, but it's like an ATM machine in the sky. Y'all heard preachers talk about that. God's not a little ATM machine that you punch a digit and you get something out of. But honestly, so many times, that's how I go into prayer. I view God as like that. Or I view God as, because of what I did last Friday, because of the mistakes that I've been making, because of the guilt that I have, I can't talk to him. He's not going to listen to what I have to say. The other thing about prayer is I'm like, yo, you know this way more than I do. You're God. So what do I have to tell you that you don't already know? By the way, he does already know. He knows everything. But he still wants you to talk to him. He still wants you to talk to him. He still wants you to put those feelings aside, those emotions aside. And he still wants to talk to you. And this is what I am changing in my mind, and maybe you need to change in yours. He's not a distant thing that I access. When Jesus came, he told the disciples, I don't exactly know what chapter and verse, so hopefully I'm right. Our pastor's here. If I'm wrong, he can correct me on the spot. But he told the disciples, don't call me master anymore. You call me friend. You call me friend. Jesus came to bring a new relationship with God. He came to fulfill the old covenant, but to bring a new relationship with God, right? And to fulfill a lot of things. And so now God is not a distant being and that's throwing fire down like he did in the Old Testament. He is now a friend, okay? A friend that you can talk to, a friend that you have access to, a friend that actually cares about you as a being. Yeah, and so I'm trying to change how I view God. God is he's not distant, he's a friend. I wish I could polish this. I wish I didn't have the week that I had. I wish I was a better preacher where I could get up here and make it all work. But I'm telling you, I wish I could. There's more words that I could design to get this point home, but I don't know of any. I just know that he's your friend. And he loves you. And he cares about you. And he has your best interest at heart. And when you feel the guilt, and when you're scared to pray, and you don't know if you can talk to him, and you're feeling uneasy, he is your friend, and he wants to talk to you. I think that maybe that's another reason it's not in my little notes here, and it's not one of the S's that I have written down as my 2 points. But maybe that's another reason that we don't pray is like, I don't even know if God wants to hear from me, you know? But he does. But he does. He wants to commune with you. He wants to talk to you. Here's my second point. I only have 2. I don't have 3. I know you're supposed to have 3. I only have 2. I don't get what I think I should get out of prayer. Because so often I feel like a lot of the prayers that I'm praying are very selfish prayers. Like they're all designed around me and what I'm going through and what I want and what I want God to do for me. That is a selfish way to pray. And we're all selfish, and we all go through seasons where we need God to do something. And I'm not saying that there are not prayers that you can pray that God will do something for you. But I don't think I'm getting what God wants me to get out of prayer when I pray that way. And let me tell you about this week. I already told you a little bit. It has been one of those weeks where if there's a time that I want God to do something for me, it's this week. God, you know what that person did. You know how wrong it was. You know the financial impact that that'll have on me and my family and my little baby girl. You got to do something about this. I love, we're going to read Psalm 139 real quick. Psalm 139, verse 17. Take a little detour. I love David for this reason, by the way. Because David, when it comes to prayer, he didn't hold back when he was talking to God. Like, he would just let God have it. And he didn't always pray the nicest things. So this is how I felt this week, and maybe you can relate to some weeks. I can't read that. It's so tiny, so I'm pulling it up on my phone. Do better, Jaron. We're going to start in verse 17. Here, this is David, okay? He's praying, talking to God. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. Okay, so this is like the whole chapter is like this kind of theme. Like, how precious are your thoughts? Like, he's just saying these beautiful words. And then David takes a detour, and I'm assuming something happened in his life or his house or something, because he diverts, and we get into this kind of dark hole of prayer where he says, oh God, if you would only destroy the wicked, get out of my life, you murderers. They blaspheme you, your enemies misuse your name, O Lord. Shouldn't I hate those who hate you? Shouldn't I despise those who oppose you? Yes, I hate them with total hatred. Your enemies are my enemies. God, smite these people. Let me tell you how I felt this week. That's how I felt this week. Lord, smite my enemies, Lord. Bring fire on them, God. Rain fire from heaven. And you know what they did. God, give it back to me, Lord. I'm a man of God, and they did something to me, and so, and I relate to David a lot, but you skip down, and it's like, it's weird. It's like he's talking about how beautiful, how precious his thoughts. Kill him. And then we're back to search me, oh God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me along the path of everlasting life. It's a weird detour, but it related to me, and it's what I needed this week. Kill him, Lord. Get him. Wait. No, search me. Know me. Test my anxious thoughts. Okay? How many times do we pray? God, you do something. Do it. Maybe he's wanting to say, hey, what's in you that I need to get out? What's going on internally with you? Which is why you're praying. If I'm a spiritual person, you talk about the New Testament, love those that love you, or love those that hurt you, pray for those that spitefully use you. When this guy did this week, you know what I should be doing? I should be praying for him. I should be loving him. I should go bring him a box of cookies in a little gift basket and say, hey, man, I know what you did, but the Lord loves you, and I love you too. And that's how I need to be praying. Because that's the life that Jesus came to bring us, y'all. It's like, it's not what everybody else has. But it starts with, no. Not, hey, God, you do this for me because I'm mad at what happened. Nope. Search me. Test me and my anxious thoughts. Lead me along the path of everlasting life, okay? Back to the Shunammite woman, okay? I know you're still probably confused how that has anything to do with prayer. And I think I might be a little bit too, but we're gonna find something. This is how I used to preach that passage, okay? And it was a lot of fun to preach it, by the way. God gives her a promise. Promise dies, okay? And Shunammite woman, I love this woman because she grabs that little boy and takes that little boy up to the man of God's room and says, hey, I didn't ask for this. And this is not my problem. This is your problem. And I admired this woman's faith because she would get up there and say, oh, no. You promised this. You gave this to me. You initiated this, so you fix it. And I see that as faith. I see that as responding. God gave me something. That thing died, and I'm not going to give up on this thing. No, that's meant a little boy. We're going to fix this thing. That's the perspective that I saw this passage for a long, long time. And I think it's, to a degree, it's true. And if you keep reading down on the passage, just so you know, the little boy comes back to life in a kind of a crazy way. After the prayer that he gave didn't work, let's pick it up, verse 32. When Elisha arrived, the child was indeed dead, lying there on the prophet's bed, and he went in alone and shut the door behind him. And now he prays. Then he laid down on the child's body, placed his mouth on the child's mouth, his eyes on the child's eyes, and his hands on the child's hands. And he stretched out on him. The body began to grow warm. Again, Elisha got up, walked back and forth across the room once, and then stretched out himself again on the child. What is going on? This time, the boy sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes, and now he's alive. Like, what in the world is going on there? Then Elisha basically is like, okay, now I'm good. Now I can go get this woman. Now, we've talked her down off the ledge, and her child is now alive. Call the child's mother, he said. And when she came in, Elisha said, here, take your son. She fell at his feet and bowed before him, overwhelmed with gratitude. And then she took her son in her arms and carried him downstairs. Okay, this woman's perspective is insane in the best way possible. Okay? Overwhelmed with gratitude. She didn't ask for that boy. She didn't pray for that boy. God just gave her that boy. That boy dies. Okay? What did she say in the middle of that passage? I forget what verse it is, but what did she say in the middle of that passage when they asked her how she was doing? Hey, is everything fine? What did she say? Everything is fine. And then it says she is overwhelmed with gratitude after the promise that died, that she didn't ask for, got raised back to life. But she didn't go, hey, yeah, you're glad that he did come back. Yeah, you owe that to me. She's overwhelmed with gratitude. What? And then in the very beginning of this passage, listen to what she said. I think it's verse 10. It's Elisha asking her, what can we do for you? She had been putting up this man of God and helping him out of the kindness of her own heart. And that man of God asked her, hey, what can I do for you? And she said, I'm good. She had every right in that situation and probably could have manipulated it and turned it around and said, yeah, actually, I'm doing something for you. You do something for me. Give me this little boy. And she didn't do it. And she's overwhelmed with gratitude. And when the boy dies, she said, it is well. I'm putting all this together in my head, and I'm saying, okay, this woman is not interested in what that man of God can do for her. She never was. I wonder how our prayer life would change. I wonder how our life would change if every time we prayed, we stopped asking God, what can you do for me? Why didn't you do this for me? I want a raise. I want a new car. I want a new job. I'm tired of this. I want X, Y, and Z. I want you to change the situation. That person broke up with me, and I can't believe they did it, and I'm mad, and I want you to fix it. God, that guy stole money from me, and you know what he did, and I'm mad, and I want you to fix it. What if we started talking to God just to talk to God? Like, what if we started praying just to get to know the person that made you? What if we started praying to change us internally and not change everything else on the outside? I think the series title is Dangerous Prayers. And so if I'm reading this, I'm going, okay, the most dangerous prayer that you can pray is a selfish, ambition-driven prayer. God, do this for me. If you really want to start praying, we're going to pray. God, search me and know my heart. Test my anxious thoughts. God, get rid of anything inside of me that you don't want inside of me. Know me. Be with me. And Lord, help me change to see you for who you are and stop trying to pray to get everything that you want, okay? Even Jesus, listen, okay? Even Jesus didn't get everything that his emotions wanted. Sounds wrong when you say it. I know, you're like, what do you mean Jesus didn't get everything that he wanted? What are you up there saying? Garden of Gethsemane, what is Jesus tasked to do? Jesus tasked to take the sins of the entire world on his shoulders, to die a terrible, gruesome death, to go into the depths of hell, and to go through that entire process. And he knows it's coming. He knows that it's right in front of him. And he knows what's about to happen. And his emotions in the Garden of Gethsemane, he's praying and he asks God, says, hey, if it's your will, I don't want to do this. Fair. I'm not mad at him. I wouldn't want to do it either. So his emotions are telling him, hey, I don't want to go through this, God, and if it's your will, please don't let me go through this. Didn't get what his emotions wanted. But how did he pivot? What did he do right after that? What did he say right after that? Y'all know this. Y'all are spiritual people. What did he say right after that? He said, nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. Not what I want, God, but what you want. Not what's best for me, God, what's best for the other person. I think we got to start praying that way. I think we got to start here before we see things change out here. And I'll publicly be the first one to say I've been got caught way up on what's going on out here. And Carson's about to come and play the pads and make me sound real spiritual as I close. Search me and know my anxious thoughts. God, what is in me that you don't want in me? Help me to pray, not for what I want, but for who you want me to be, the perspective that you want me to have. David said, I think in Psalm 19, he said, let the words of my mouth And let the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. God, let me be the same person externally that I am internally. Let what I say please you, but not just what I say. Let the thoughts and let my internal spiritual being also please you. Let the meditations of my heart also please you. And I just want us, you can do it in your seat. You can pray along with me. I'm honestly I'm in a place where I need to recenter myself and realign myself. And maybe you're in that same spot where you've been praying way too much about, God, you're not doing this for me. You're not doing that for me. God, do this, boom, 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 boom. And it's like, no. Hey, God, how do you want me to change? I want to get to know you just to get to know you. Because like we sang about earlier, you're good and you're faithful and you're trustworthy and you're kind and you're generous and you're the creator God who made me. So regardless if you did anything else in my entire life, God, I want to get to know you. I want to love you for you. You can pray in your seat. You can follow along, but that's my prayer today. And God, help these people. Help anyone that's listening. God, hopefully it's been helpful. Made some sort of sense to somebody. Help us love us for you. Help us pray prayers that are your will, not ours. Help us recenter ourselves and remove the selfish ambition that so often takes hold of everything. Help us live like you. Help us live like Jesus called us to live. God, we love you. We love you because you first loved us. God, I pray for your precious people this morning. Help them pray dangerous prayers. Help them pray to align themselves with you and what you want. Because once they know not what you do for them, God, but once they know you and who you are as a person and as a being, they will never, ever be the same again. You can't. It's impossible. Because you're just that good. And you're just that kind and you're just that generous. We love you today. We pray all this in Jesus' mighty name. And everybody said, amen.